All right, so good morning and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Birdview's weekly workshop. Our weekly workshop takes place every Tuesday at 1 p.m. EST or 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we cover a different topic each week. You can register for our weekly workshops and other events through our website under the Events tab. You can also use the link displayed on the screen above. We do post a list of all of our topics in advance, so you do have the option to sign up for multiple sessions at once. I highly encourage you to join as many sessions as possible as a refresher or to learn tips and tricks on how to make the most of Birdview at your work. With each session, we will start with a demo on the topic we're covering, and we will use the last 10 minutes to go over any questions you may have. Please feel to send in your questions in the chat during the session. So our topic today is Birdview's project snapshots. In this session, we're going to talk about how project snapshots are beneficial for both project managers and other internal and external stakeholders. We will dive into the components of project snapshots, which are dependencies, critical path, baseline, progress, end dates, etc. And how project snapshots are used for monitoring the progress and reporting of the project. The last 10 minutes, as I mentioned before, we will cover any questions or concerns you may have, and then finally do a quick highlight on the upcoming webinars. So what is a project snapshot? So a project snapshot is basically a brief overview or the summary of the current status of the project at a given point in time. It provides key information, metrics, and indicators allowing relevant stakeholders to assess project's progress. So the common uses for project snapshots are a quick assessment and communication with team members, decision-making in terms of the project's direction, resource requirements, priorities, etc. It also provides transparency and accountability among team members and other stakeholders, and can also be used for reporting the status of the project and manage risks such as delays. Typically, project snapshots are used for long-term projects, and the frequency at which you can capture a project depends on the project life. Ideally, we want you to capture a project snapshot either monthly, if the project is running 6 months or less, and of course, depending on your team or organization requirements, or quarterly for projects that are running 12 months or more. So this is a quick highlight overview of what a project snapshot looks like in Birdview. And we will now go ahead and create a project snapshot in Birdview. So here we go. So for the purposes of this session, I have created a demo project with some tasks. So what are some of the key elements we want before we even create a project snapshot? So one of the things is definitely a project. We want to have associated tasks or subtasks with the project. Also have a start and end date. So this really helps when taking a look at the length and the timeline of a certain project or a task within a project, as well as actual hours. So once a project starts and the team member starts to log in time, this is very helpful to evaluate where your project is. So to create a project snapshot, we're going to hover over the project and click on More Actions, 3 ellipses. Here you'll get the option of Capture Project Snapshot. So we'll click there. As you can see, the project Gantt view is already created here, and it gives you a lot of information here. So first things first, if you look at the very top here, you can see it says today, which means it's the month of August. You can toggle back and forth to see other projects and other periods as well. The blue Gantt, the blue bar here indicates it's the project. the teal green light color indicates it's a task, and anything in yellow is an indication that this task is a milestone. So as you notice that on certain tasks, we have light green and dark green. So dark green really is the project's progress. So if, let's say, I worked on a certain task, on phase 1 task, and I've completed 60% of it, you can, in details section, you can go in and update that, and it will reflect here. Just a quick note that the project, when you're assigning tasks, or I apologize, when you're assigning tasks or recording actual hours here, the percentage completed is not updated and automatically. So here you have to manually go and update the percentage of the tasks that you have completed. So the project snapshot takes this information instead of the hours spent. So it takes the information of the percentage completed and reflects on the project progress. So let's go back here. So we have already discussed about what are these different components and the color coding. You can also view the project snapshot either daily, weekly, monthly, or annually. So if I click on weekly, notice how all the data has been shrunk to the week. On the right-hand side here, you can create a new name. You can name your project. So in this case, we're going to say project snapshot, snapshot demo. And just for the sake of it, I'm going to add the date, because there are chances that I could create multiple project snapshots for a single project. So in this case, I'm creating this project snapshot on August the 8th. Under detail level section, we have given you a few options. So by default, you're always going to see based on Gantt view, which is also your Gantt view table. You can see just the project, so it will consolidate all the information. Project and one nested level, which means it's going to show you the parent task or a single task, as well as projects and 2 nested level. So now you can see the subtasks within the parent task here. So there are different layers that you can modify this project snapshot at. In terms of settings, again, you have a few options and critical information here. So one of them is dependencies. So I'm going to quickly change this to a weekly just so we have a better view here. So dependency is, it shows the arrow between 2 tasks. So notice this arrow between P1A task and P1B. So P1B is dependent on 1A. So if I uncheck this dependency checkbox here, notice that arrow is gone. And if I click it, it's back here. So this shows any dependencies the tasks have. Next is the critical path. So the critical path is the very last or the very important task phase or a stage that needs to be completed in order for the project to be complete. And in this case, it is the very last phase, which is the delivery stage that will need to be completed before demo project is complete. So here you can check or uncheck. So when you check the critical path, notice how the color changed to red. We also provide you baseline. I haven't captured the baseline just yet, but we will quickly review that momentarily. And progress. So if you notice, as an example, task P1B is 35% complete. So if I uncheck the progress, notice that percentage is gone. So now it is all dark. And if I click on progress, you will see the progress. So again, the light yellow is the task, 35% dark yellow is the progress. And optional is start and end date. So you can uncheck it. So you can use this Gantt view or the project snapshot for reporting purposes, or you can add the start and end date, and it will show the details of the start and end date at each task level as well. So how do we share a Gantt chart? Or in this case, project snapshot. So we have given you two options, actually three. So one is copy link. So why are we going to copy a link? If let's say I am sharing this link with a external stakeholder or internal stakeholder who is not assigned to the project, right? So I can simply click on copy link, and notice on the bottom left corner here, it says link has been copied to the clipboard. So now to test it out, I can simply open a new tab, paste the new link, and say, and hit enter. So this is the view that your external stakeholders or other stakeholders with whom you're sharing the link, they will get this view right here. The other one is export to PDF. So the moment you export to PDF, it is going to download a copy of the project snapshot. And if I click on it, it's going to open a PDF version of it. So you can save the PDF version as an attachment. You can attach it to the project. You can send it via email, Teams, Slack, whatever method of communication that you use, you can use that. And you can also save this for your on your desktop for future reference purposes. And the very last thing, just because we are copying the link or exporting to PDF does not create a project snapshot in Birdview. In order to create that, you want to make sure you click Create. And notice at the bottom left corner, it says Project Snapshot has been created. So now that it's created, where do you go to view the project snapshot? Because if you go back into details and capture, it's not going to show you what's already done. So in order to view it, we're going to go on the very right corner, More Actions, which is 3 ellipses. Click on that, and the very first option is the project snapshot. So let's click on that. Here, you will see a list of all the project snapshots that has been created since inception. So it could be just for this project. It could be for any other projects that you have created a snapshot for. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and it is going to give me the same, the project snapshot that was captured on August 8th. There is no limit how many project snapshots you can create. You can create as many as you want. But as mentioned before, ideally, if it's a short-term project, you can do it a monthly project snapshot, or if it's a long-term project, quarterly is probably ideal, because obviously we don't want your list to be cluttered here unnecessarily. You'll notice there's a plus icon here as well. So you can also create a project snapshot through this section. So if I click on it, you'll notice it's going to bring you back to the project snapshot screen, which is great. However, if let's say you have multiple projects selected, so let's say I'm going to select 2 additional projects here. And then I'm going to go and say project snapshots and create a project snapshot. You'll notice that all the projects that are active on my current activity center screen will be reflected on this project snapshot screen as well. So you're not only just capturing one project snapshot, you're capturing all the data for all the projects that are currently visible on your activity center. So if you're creating a project snapshot, I highly, highly recommend to use the project details here, project more actions. So now let's talk about baseline. So once a project is created and all the information and budget details have been added to it, this is where you want to create or capture a project baseline. This is before a project is in motion. So once a project is information is laid out, we're going to click on capture baseline. And then notice on the bottom left corner, it says project baseline is captured. Enable Gantt view and choose show baseline on top 3 dots to check it. So we can either click on Gantt view here and we can see the project's baseline. Where am I here? Project show items. Here we go. Baseline, you can see it here. Or I can go back into the capture project snapshot. And here you can see the baseline. So the baseline is the very hard bolded black line that shows that this is what the expected project progress or timeline was supposed to look like when we first created the project plan. Now, let's say one of the tasks has been delayed. So let's move task phase 1. All right. So now, if you notice, let's open this fully. You will notice that the parent task and the subtasks have moved to Monday, August the 7th, instead of Friday, August the 4th. However, the baseline has not changed. So this is an indication to you as a project manager or another stakeholder that the project is currently running behind schedule. So this is a good visual for project managers as yourself to analyze what the status of the project is, if you need to allocate more resources because you want to make sure that your delivery date is not impacted. Your critical path is the delivery, and none of the future future tasks are impacted by the delay in the first phase. So this is a quick overview of the project snapshots. Are there any questions? Okay, we have. So one of the questions we have, is it safe to assume that the snapshots are not dynamic, meaning the snapshot is not updated as project changes or take new shape? Yes. So when you're capturing a project snapshot, that is correct. It is not dynamic. It is a snapshot at a point in time. So if, let's say, in the future, there's progress made, let's say phase 2 is complete, the project snapshot is not going to show it until I capture it. But that being said, your Gantt view is also your project snapshot, right? So your Gantt view is the live update of what's happening in the project. So let's say, as an example, I'm going to go into, let's do this, phase 2 details. And I'm going to increase this to 90% done, okay? Now, if I go and see the Gantt view, let's go back, take a look at that. Phase 1, P1A has been updated to 90%. So your Gantt view is a live, is being updated live, but when you're capturing a snapshot, it's just taking the information that happened at that point in time. I hope that helps. What happens if you forget to capture baseline at the beginning of the project? Can you update later? Absolutely. So you can capture baseline anytime you want. You can also overwrite baselines anytime you want. So ideally, we recommend do it at the start of the project. But if you forget, you can capture it as soon as you remember. You can also overwrite or recapture baseline. So let's say, as an example that we just did here, that the phase 1 P1A task has been moved to August 7th, right? And I have talked to the clients or the relevant stakeholders that it is okay. And let's say the delivery is going to move to Monday the 21st, right? I can simply click on the 3 ellipses and say override baseline. And it's going to ask you, you've already captured the baseline of the project. Are you sure you want to do this? Because once you overwrite a baseline, you can't go back to the original one. So let's say save. And notice how the baseline has changed as well. So yes, you can capture baseline after the project has started in case you forgot. But if, let's say, you have, if there's any changes in the project deliverables, timelines, etc., and it has been confirmed by the client as well, you can revise or overwrite the baseline, and the system, the Gantt view, will reflect that information live. Any other questions? Okay. So next week, we are going to review our project rate cards and how a project manager or an administrator can customize those project rate cards to be used for project billing purposes. And the week after, the week of August 22, we will take a look at Birdview's Outlook and Office 365 plugin and how the information flows between Outlook and Birdview. Thank you all for joining today's session. I really hope that you found our topic insightful. We do welcome your suggestions and recommendations for future topics, so please feel free to send us a quick message. You can send your requests at success@birdviewpsa.com, which is displayed on the screen here. I hope you all have a wonderful day and the week ahead, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.